This happened a few months ago. I didn't write down the exact date. At the time, it didn't seem important. Now I can't restore everything perfectly, but I remember enough to understand when it started. This isn't a warning. If at any point this feels familiar, stop listening. Some things are better left in the past. It started with a side job. I was living alone then. Money was tight. I worked wherever I could. Warehouse shifts, delivery apps, one-off gigs, sometimes small repair work. I'm not licensed, but I know how to fix things. One day a man named Daniel called me. Local number. Calm voice, short conversation. He said he needed someone careful, someone who doesn't make noise and doesn't ask unnecessary questions. The place needed to be put back in order after tenants moved out. I asked where it was. When he gave the address, I didn't recognize it at first. Then I remembered. An older apartment building near the edge of downtown. Not quite abandoned, not quite alive. A pocket of the city that felt separate from the rest. Better in the evening, he said. People hang around during the day. What kind of people? I asked. People who look. Then they get nervous. Then they call someone they shouldn't. He added, cash, up front. I agreed. The building was old but solid, the kind that stands quietly and avoids attention. Narrow courtyard, detached garages on one side, an overgrown vacant lot on the other. The hallway was dim even with the lights on. The bulbs looked deliberately weak. Third floor. The apartment door had no number. New lock. Old door. Daniel opened almost immediately. He looked like someone who hadn't slept much. Not old. Just worn down. Inside, the apartment was empty. The air smelled faintly damp. Walls clean but not fresh. Cheap vinyl flooring. Windows closed. Curtains removed. And everywhere that feeling that someone had lived there very recently. Daniel explained quickly. The closet door is off alignment. Fix that. Bathroom faucet needs tightening. And most important, replace the lock on the inner door. Which inner door? I asked. He looked at me. There's one at the end of the hallway. It needs to close. That's it. The door stood at the very end of the hallway. Not the front door, not a bedroom. Almost like it led to a separate section carved out of the apartment. The rest of the place was standard, but that door was heavy. Dark. Thick wood. The handle looked older, like something from a basement storage room. And there was something else. A security chain, mounted on the outside. Like someone installed it backward. Or on purpose. Why is the chain on the outside? I asked. That's how it was, Daniel said. Don't touch the chain, just install the new lock. He handed me a plain, unbranded lock from a hardware store. Bag of screws. I asked how long the tenants had lived there. Couple months, through an agency, paid on time, then left. Keys in the mailbox. He said it like it was normal. Maybe to him it was, but he seemed rushed. Before leaving, he added, if you hear someone in the hallway, don't go out. If someone knocks, don't open. Not because of thieves, just don't. Then he left. The first 30 minutes were normal. Fixed the closet, tightened the faucet, checked the windows for drafts. The apartment was so quiet I could hear my keys shifting in my pocket. Then I approached the inner door. Up close, I noticed marks. not dirt. Small dents, like nail marks, about chest height, on one side of the handle. I ran my fingers across them. The surface was smooth, but the pressure points were there, as if someone had grabbed that exact spot many times. Cold air seeped from under the door. The gap was small, but the temperature felt lower beyond it. I pressed my ear to the door automatically, the way people listen to a fridge or radiator. At first, nothing, then a sound. Not a voice, not footsteps. A soft, steady dragging, like something being moved slowly across the floor. Very close to the door. I stepped back, told myself, ventilation, pipes, neighbors. I listened again. Nothing. When I removed the old lock, I noticed a thin strip of paper folded many times, wedged inside the frame. I pulled it out. Numbers, just numbers. Several short sequences, no words. At the bottom in pencil, do not open after 9. That was it. It looked childish, stupid. But the paper was old, and no one folds paper like that without a reason. I wanted to take a photo and show Daniel later, but I caught myself thinking I didn't want photos taken inside that apartment. I don't know why. I put the paper in my pocket and kept working. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. Normal footsteps. Someone climbing the stairs. Paused somewhere below, then continued. I remembered what Daniel said. If they knock, don't open. The footsteps stopped outside the front door. I heard the handle move slightly. Tested. Pause. Second test, then a knock. Soft. 1. Silence. Another knock. Same rhythm. The front door suddenly felt too thin. Then I heard something like someone leaning close and inhaling near the door frame. Not aggressively, just checking. I didn't move. For some reason, the thought of stepping into the hallway didn't feel dangerous. It felt wrong. After a minute, the footsteps went downstairs. Slow, calm. I went back to the locks. The apartment felt colder now, gradual, like the heat had been turned off and I only noticed later. I finished installing the new lock, tested it. At that moment, the inner door handle moved slightly, just a few millimeters downward, like someone on the other side was testing it. I froze. Another small movement. Silence. I grabbed the handle. Told myself, maybe pressure, maybe airflow. I turned it slightly. The door pushed back, lightly, as if someone on the other side was holding it too. I let go. The metal left a cold feeling in my palm, like touching winter steel. I decided to leave. Packed my tools, checked everything. When I reached the front door, I heard a neighboring apartment open. I couldn't see. My peephole was covered from the inside with matte film. I'd noticed earlier but didn't think much of it. Now it irritated me, like someone had deliberately blocked my view. The neighbor's door opened. A man and a woman. The woman whispered, "Someone again." The man said, "It's not for us, don't look." Pause. "He's in there alone." Stop. Their door closed. I checked the time. 9:07 p.m. I remembered the note. Do not open after 9. I didn't know what not to open, but I was standing at the door, ready to leave. I texted Daniel. Finished. Heading out. No reply. Then the inner door made a soft clicking sound, like a latch shifting. Another. Then a sound like a fingernail dragging across wood. Slow. Even. I turned. The door stood still, but I didn't want to get closer. A message came in. Don't leave. I read it twice. Why? I typed. After a while, wait until 10, then just go. Quietly. The more I thought about leaving, the more the hallway felt like somewhere you weren't supposed to step into. I sat on a wooden stool in the hallway. I hadn't noticed it before. The apartment was empty. The stool looked placed there for someone to sit and wait. I listened. Soft footsteps in the stairwell. Someone moving carefully, stopping, continuing. A couple times someone passed my door. The stairs creaked. No one knocked. At 9:23 p.m., something brushed down the outside of the front door, not knocking. Just a palm sliding from top to bottom, like someone confirming I was inside. At 9:40, the inner door handle jerked harder, not trying to open, like someone briefly hung their weight on it. Silence. I went to the kitchen, turned on the faucet. Water sputtered, then flowed evenly. I washed my face. The mirror above the sink was cloudy, dotted. My reflection looked normal. When I shut the water off, the dragging sound returned from the hallway. Slow, soft, something being pulled closer to the door. I stepped back into the hallway. Silence. At 9:55, another message from Daniel. If you hear your name, don't answer. Name, I wrote. No reply. At 10 p.m., the building sounded normal. Someone upstairs walking. A TV below. A door closing somewhere. And then I heard it. A voice in the stairwell. Lower level, clear, quiet. It said my name. Not loudly, just calling. I had never said my name in that building. The voice repeated it. After the second time, I knew if it said it a third time, it would be hard not to respond. Its reflex, pause, then open. I didn't move, then I'm with Daniel. Too convenient, too exact. At 10:07, silence. I waited 5 minutes. Opened the front door. The hallway was empty. A flickering bulb. No one on the stairs. The air felt colder than it should have. On the second floor, a woman stood by her door. You're here for Daniel? She asked. I nodded. Don't come back, she said. Why? She looked at me like I didn't understand something obvious, then went inside and shut the door. Outside, everything was normal. Traffic, street lights. I looked up at the third floor window. No curtains. I saw movement. Not a silhouette. Just darkness shifting slightly to one side. I drove away. 2 days later, Daniel texted. Did you take anything? Just a paper from the lock. Throw it away. What is it? It's not for you. I threw it away in a trash can outside a grocery store. Days later, walking home. At night, I felt watched. My phone rang. Unknown number. Silence, then my name. Soft, even. Open. Who is this? Open. I hung up. After that, small things. My apartment door lock slightly turned from where I left it. One click off. A folded blank strip of paper on my doormat. 3 folds. Then another, and another. I installed a cheap security camera. Footage showed hours of nothing, then static, then morning, like the night never happened. One day I looked through my peephole, matte film covering it. I removed it. Next day, it was back, perfectly applied. I thought about moving, I really did, but moving costs money. And fear always sounds unreasonable in daylight. You tell yourself you're tired, overworked, stressed. until something small happens, something exact. One evening I came home like always, dropped the grocery bag in the kitchen, took off my jacket, walked into the living room, and there it was, a wooden stool, in the center of the room, facing the hallway. I don't own a stool. It wasn't decorative. It wasn't old furniture I forgot about. It was placed, deliberately, like someone had been sitting there, waiting for me to walk in. I stood there for a long time, staring at it, trying to remember if maybe I had brought something home without noticing, if maybe I was losing track of things. Then I heard it, from the hallway. Soft, slow, dragging, the exact same sound I heard behind that door. Not loud, not aggressive, close. I didn't go check, not because I was brave, not because I was frozen, because I understood something. If I walked into that hallway, I would be opening something, and I still didn't know what open really meant. I picked up the stool, carried it outside into the building hallway, left it against the wall, closed my door, locked it. An hour later, I opened the door again to take out the trash. The hallway was empty. The stool was gone. No sound of someone carrying it. No footsteps. Nothing. The next day I received a text. Unknown number. One character. A period. Just a dot. I deleted it. Blocked the number. 2 hours later, another dot. From a different number. Then another. And another. Eventually I stopped blocking them. It didn't change anything. Here's the only thing I'll say. If you ever walk into a place, an apartment, an office, a waiting room, and the peephole is covered with matte film, don't remove it. Not out of curiosity. Not out of stubbornness. There's a door inside a room that feels heavier than it should be. Leave it alone. If you find a folded note hidden inside a lock, don't take it with you. And if someone says your name somewhere they couldn't possibly know it, don't answer. Because once you answer, you're not just responding, you're confirming you're inside. And something out there is only waiting for that. This isn't superstition. It's what I wish I had known earlier. If you've made it this far, you're ready for the next story. It's already waiting on the channel.